Hello everyone and welcome to microbiology. My name is Wes and I'll be your instructor for the semester. You'll be taking a 4 credit hour course including the lab, and as a 4 credit hour course we expect you to spend about 4 hours on course content that's direct instruction, so watching the PowerPoints, reading instructions for lab, that sort of thing, followed by about 8 hours on homework each week. First, a little bit about what I do. So I am a graduate researcher at ASU. I study cyanobacteria, which are sort of like small algae, and they produce biofuels. And my job is to genetically engineer the cyanobacteria to enhance the levels of biofuels that they produce. And generally I work on the smaller test tube scale, but sometimes I do intermediate studies in order to have them stepped up to a large scale process where they could actually be used industrially. I have a passion for science education and for animals. I have many cats as well as many other animals, and I am expecting a baby girl come July. For this course, you'll be required to check your Scottsdale email and your Canvas for lab data, reminders, and tentative changes to assignments that may occur throughout the semester. I typically try and send out weekly announcements, so watch out for those as well. If you're not familiar with how to check your student email, you can go to scottsdalecc.edu/students, and then on the right hand side you can simply click student email. I don't interact with outside emails, so be sure you're using your certified student email for communication. Preferably go through Canvas though. That's where we try and keep everything centrally located. Let's review the required materials. All of the required materials should be mostly free. The OpenStax microbiology textbook is free on the OpenStax website. You can use Google Cloud products such as Google Docs and the free Microsoft 365 products available on Scottsdale's website for students. We'll be using Zoom in order to conduct our office hours. Respondus is a program that you will download. We'll have an instruction for that later on for taking the exam. SnapGene is a program you'll use for one of the labs. Don't install it just yet because it's a temporary trial and we don't want it to expire on you. And then you'll need a computer that allows you to access and use these tools. So a computer that allows you to download applications will be important. So work computer, you might run into those issues. The exams will be focusing on the previous unit, lecture, and labs. It is a combined exam where you'll have content from both the lecture and the lab in one. It will be made up of multiple choice, matching, fill in the blank, essay, and problem solving questions. A little bit of math on some of the exams, but it shouldn't be too complicated as long as you follow the tutorials and example problems. I expect each student to use complete sentences and proper grammar when answering questions in this course. The exam will be available for a 3-day period, so it should run Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So just about any student should not have any problems taking the exam in that window. Formats for the exams may include writing definitions, writing or drawing or diagramming a certain microbial process. You can have makeup exams, but because we have a 3-day window, I am requiring a doctor's note, a court summons, some sort of legitimate excuse like that with documentation. Otherwise, it's the student's responsibility to avoid scheduling conflicts. So if you have a vacation or something coming up, it's going to be on you to make sure that you find a computer where you can take the exam. Okay, for the lab assignments, they're each worth 20 points. We'll have them on a weekly basis, except if that week lies on a holiday. You can review the lab schedule on Canvas to see when the precise due dates are. We'll have one library writing assignment that will be worth 80 points, and that'll be due towards the end of the semester. And I don't want you to start working on that until we've done the library lab so that you're prepared to write it. We'll have 4 combined lab and lecture exams. They're going to be worth 100 points each. And these exams are going to be closed notes, internet, friends, etc. So no outside sources are allowed, nor any course materials. This course will have something called checkpoint questions, and these are questions that are embedded in your lectures. The recorded lectures are from past semesters. So what you want to do is you want to read the checkpoint questions that are on the posted lecture PowerPoints. Those will have the most up-to-date lecture checkpoint questions. And what you'll do is you'll just write or type each question down, and you will submit your answers later. Then, after you have your questions and answers, you'll go to Canvas and find that corresponding checkpoint question assignment. Click on it. You'll notice that the questions aren't rewritten there, and that's because I want to make sure the students are reading the lectures themselves instead of just Googling answers. If you take Google's answer, you might very well get the answer wrong. So make sure you're reading the lectures and finding the answers there. So again, just a note, make sure you're taking those questions from the PowerPoints and not from the recordings. Also, we'll have weekly assignments. Those weekly assignments will be based upon the chapters for that week. They're worth another 5 points each, and they're meant to assess how well you're coming along in your understanding of the material. Oftentimes I like to synthesize different parts of the lecture material. It might even be from a different prior week in order to see if you're really comprehending and connecting the dots for the work. And again, these assignments can be found under their current unit and they'll be named appropriately. Attendance is a big one in this course. You're expected to stay current on weekly lecture and lab content and complete all assignments on time. Exams have a 3-day window, so you're expected to complete them within that 3-day window. You can see the schedule for the specific exam due dates. Labs are an essential component of microbiology, and therefore you can only miss a maximum of 2 labs. If you miss 3 labs, then you will be dropped or failed from the course. Labs will be closed after the due date, and they'll only be reopened with instructor permission. Late submissions are possible with labs, where you'll receive a 10% deduction for each week that they're late. Even if they're just late the day next, it'll count as being a week late. And while we're talking about late submissions, the checkpoint questions are designed to be more of a attendance tracker. So consequently, there are no makeup mechanisms for a checkpoint question. If something comes up and you miss one, there'll be no possible way to make it up. Luckily, they're only worth about 5 points each, so it's not a major loss to your grade, but just keep that in mind. Try and get those checkpoint questions done, and feel free to turn them in early. You don't have to wait till the last day of the week to get them done. You have all week to complete them, and most checkpoint questions are not that difficult. They're pretty well explained out. If you have any special circumstances, such as being a student athlete or you have a registered disability accommodation, please alert me immediately today if possible, as soon as you read this. So I have a few tips for being successful in this course. One of them is to attend office hours on a weekly basis. The next is to review the last lecture's PowerPoints and your notes before continuing to the following lecture, so that you're not just kind of forgetting everything in the previous PowerPoint. And oftentimes these things are sort of a successional learning where you apply your knowledge from your previous chapter or unit to the next one. Next, become an active learner. So ask a lot of questions. No question is a dumb question if you're learning in the process. So it's another way for you to help with your retaining of the information is thinking about problems. Go ahead and pause the lecture and try and answer questions given by me or create your own. And there's no failure in trying if you learn better in the end. Develop consistent daily studying habits. Don't just wait until the last day of the week to try and cram in all of the information. Okay? Avoid eating, playing on social media, or streaming services while studying. Try and dedicate your focus to just the material at hand. And if you're constantly reviewing your notes, on a daily basis, you'll retain that information a lot better. I recommend, since there's so much information in these videos and lectures, that you actually listen to the lectures and then go through the slides a couple of times. Then, whatever's not sticking in your mind or you don't understand, then take notes. Otherwise, you're just going to be writing everything down, and it's going to take a ton of time to write everything down. Lastly, I recommend for those very tedious things that you have to memorize, getting yourself some 3x5 note cards and writing them down on there. The reason why I suggest that is these 3x5 note cards are portable. You can take them, anywhere you go, in your back pocket or in your purse. And when you're bored, instead of reaching out for your phone, maybe pull out the note cards and just brief yourself on that study material. Get familiar with those terms. Let's take a moment and just familiarize ourselves with the Canvas and how it'll work. So you'll find these units, which will have all of the information you need. It'll have your PowerPoints, it'll have your link to the recorded lectures, it will have your assignments. This will be lecture unit 1. We'll have a lab unit 1 posted as well. Here's the introduce yourself, where you can get a point for just saying hello to everyone and telling us about yourself. Here we can see we'll have the first week course introduction PowerPoint available to you, and below we'll see we have the checkpoint questions. If we click on those checkpoint questions, you can click to take the quiz, and again you'll notice that the questions are not here. You're supposed to write the questions down from the lecture PowerPoints that are posted, not the recordings, the PowerPoints. You'll write in your answers and then click submit. An issue that often comes up is trying to watch the lecture videos. So here we have the Chapter 1, Chapter 2 lecture video. And if you click on it, you're probably going to see this refuse to connect error. Go ahead and click up here at the top with a link, and the link should open into a new window. I apologize for the ads, I have no control over that. And you should be able to watch the video directly here. Okay, let's go over the first week to-do list. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me through Canvas, preferably. If that doesn't work for you, you can do email, but Canvas works best. And you can set up a Zoom session. I have my available office hour windows listed on the instructor and office hours section on Canvas. Please do the introductions. They're due this Friday. Watch the Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 lecture videos, and then look at the lecture PowerPoints posted, and from there you will write down your checkpoint questions. Again, not the recordings, but from the PowerPoint slides that I post. They'll be due this Monday, and you'll also have a weekly assignment that will be due this Monday. And then finally, the Lab 1 won't be due until the Monday after, because this week is a holiday, so no lab this week. And that's it. So good luck to everyone this first week and in the course. Please reach out to me again if you have any concerns or questions. I'll be happy to answer them, or we can just have a chat if you want to come to a Zoom session. So take care, everyone.